Welcome to the Nomad Network, your first stop for complete and comprehensive Chicago Bears football coverage. Dive deep into analyses, updates, and all things Bears. Subscribe to our YouTube channel today and never miss a beat. Thank you in advance for your support. We promise to bring you the best because together we're unstoppable. Go Bears!
Yo, No Maniacs. Welcome into another edition of Feed the Bears. I'm your host, Nomad, and I'm here to do my job to feed you, the Bears, the best coverage we can possibly give you. And I apologize for yesterday. We should have had a show, but then we shouldn't have because I didn't realize yesterday that they were having a closed practice. There wasn't going to be reporters there. I found out somewhat close to time when it was time to do the show, somewhere around noon, 11 o'clock noon. And I realized I was like, there's no notes. I would just be here just talking for the most part, which we would have did. Okay, we just talked about Bears, but I decided not to do it. And I apologize for you all that was expecting that show. We'll try to do better next time and try to get you guys informed. But when there's practice, I plan on coming out here and going on and doing a live show. And we're going to talk about everything that we heard. And so shout out to Crimson You Dig, first one up in the chat. Shout out to you, my guy. And let's get right on into it, man, because it's quite a bit to talk about, man. This was a very physical practice, man. And I watched Ben Johnson's presser before practice, and they went out there with the intent to be extremely physical today. Wasn't a lot of throwing the ball around. That's for sure, man. Looking at everybody's reports on Twitter, everybody that takes notes and puts them on Twitter, it was clear and obvious that they wasn't focused on throwing the ball. There's a lot of red zone stuff, a lot of goal line stuff, and Roschon Johnson appeared to be the guy that kind of stood out with the most red zone touches. He got a few touchdowns out of the situation, but the intent was clear. It was focused on making sure that we set a physical tone this practice. This is something, I think people were expecting to hear something else based on what happened out there at the Family Fest night. And, the whole thing with Caleb Williams not looking so sharp. And people was expecting, okay, they're going to go out here and, install some stuff to make them look a little bit better. I don't know. But I don't think that's quite the news everybody was expecting. But it's welcome news to me because that's, to me, when you struggle a little bit, especially when it's a quarterback and you got procedural stuff going on, people jumping off sides and the quarterback just not being timely enough and the stuff not looking good, that's what you want to lean on when things get like that, when things get a little chaotic, a little disjointed, and things aren't functioning quite the way they ought to be. You want to be able to lean into your running game heavy. And so to me, we don't know what happened yesterday behind closed doors in that closed practice. Who knows what happened there? But I know what I heard today, and they came out in front of the public and made the intention of being very, very physical today. And there was definitely some skirmishes going on. To me, people, this is when I know we're deep into training camp now. Now they're getting tired of each other. Fights jumping out, One in particular situation, I just found out about this probably 5 minutes before the show. Roschon Johnson and Jonathan Owens got into a scuffle. And it was over, I don't know whether he took him to the ground too hard or was laying on him a little bit too much. And he got up and threw the ball at Jonathan Owens. And after that, a skirmish took place. Ended it with Roschon Johnson slamming him to the ground. That's what I heard on social media. Everybody's making a big stink out of it. It's just normal training camp stuff to me. I love it. To me, that's when the training camp gets real. And that's when it's time for them to start seeing other people. This is the perfect time. This is exactly what I expected. Somewhere around that second, third week, they get tired of each other. They've been around each other hours and hours and hours and hours in a day, playing and running the same stuff against each other every single day. Yeah, you're going to get tired of each other. And so it just it comes out at this point in every training camp. You know it's real when this is when a team is really starting to get ready. They need to see some other bodies, some other uniforms so they can attack that. because they're going to end up hurting each other at this point, Ken. That's what I've always experienced. But let me holler at some other people in the chat. Shout out Paul Rodriguez for busting up in this thing. Patriots 12 in here with the hate again. Anthropology 2000, Tyson Bates, and QB1. We're going to talk about a little bit of that, man, because I know everybody by now, most people by now has heard that Ben Johnson praised Tyson Bates quite well. And, am I here to make a big deal out of it? Not really, but it was noteworthy. I would just say that. But we're going to get to that just a little bit. I'm going to get to a couple of notes that I have here right quick, stuff to talk about. Let me see. Oh, okay. This is for Ben Johnson was asked a question about how much playing time would these starters get. Speaking Caleb Williams, talking about the offensive line and the other starters. I think that's what most people are curious about. I don't think defensively, I don't think there's a lot of people wondering how much these guys are going to play. I care, but I don't think your average Bears fan is really concerned about how much the defensive guys play, because what they're concerned about is Caleb Williams in this offense and how good it's going to look. How much time does he need on the field? Do you leave him in there for a quarter? Do you leave him there for 2 quarters? I think, and Ben Johnson's answer is yet to be determined. And so I think they're basing what happens this week in the next couple of days. And I think they're off tomorrow. So by the way, they are off tomorrow. So it's a likelihood that it might not be a show tomorrow. I don't know. I may do one anyway, just because, but there is no practice tomorrow. They're going to give them a day off. Then they're going to come back in, kind of start ramping up a little bit more for a Friday practice, where it's going to be the scrimmage between them and Miami. But it's yet to be determined how much of that's going to happen. I think it's largely based on how Mike McDaniels wants to play his starters, because you don't want to. I think that's where the camaraderie between two coaches kind of pay off here. Hopefully they'll get somewhere and have a conversation about, hey man, this is my plan to play these guys. Hopefully you can get something in unison with that, so that it's not looking so lopsided and it's not looking like one coach is trying to pick on the other one to make them look bad. So you want that to kind of coincide and kind of line up together. So if Mike McDaniels only wants to go a quarter with his starters, you go a quarter with him. If he wants to do a quarter and a half, you do a quarter and a half. Then when he wants to go a half, you go a half with him. That's pretty much how it should be, in my opinion. So, I think we'll find out real quick exactly how they plan on going about that. Give me a second, grab my pen. Got that out of the way. Yeah. Ben, let me see here. Hold on 1 second. Oh, also, it was I think it came out today in the presser that pretty soon there's going to be a release of the depth chart. And so what Ben Johnson said at the podium, and I would advise, if you guys take anything that I say serious, I would say the same thing to you all. He told his team, he spoke with his team prior to releasing it and told them not to look into it too deeply. And I would give you all the same advice, because I'm definitely going to take that advice. I'm going to look at it and I'm going to evaluate it and see what I think about it. And we'll talk about it on the show. But, still got like another 3 to 4 weeks left in camp. So things could change in a dramatic ass heartbeat about the depth chart. So don't read too much into it. We're going to talk about it, but don't read too much into it. It's just an early depth chart. All right. Illy just busted up in here. Shout out to Illinois Jones. All right. Let me get to some more notes we have here. Theo Benedict, with the absence of Kieran Amagaji, this would have been Kieran Amagaji's day to take the first team reps. And so with the absence, he's got some kind of leg injury going on. I don't know if they have anything specific about exactly what it is, but it's something regarding his leg. And so Theo Benedict, in his place, took first team reps in the place of Kieran Amagaji. And he also repped some reps over there on the right side. So there's a guy that, there's several guys that I would say are making a name for themselves that nobody really expected them to. Getting Theo Benedict first team reps on the left side tells me some things. Number one is they liked him enough over at the right tackle that, you know what, man, he's looking good over there. He's You're talking about coaches talking to coordinators. Hey, what's standing out to you? Oh, Theo Bennett that is doing very, very well. I'm noticing things about him. Let's see if we can put him on the right side, on the left side, and see how he reps over here. Put him against some ones. Let's just see what happens. We ain't expecting a whole lot, but let's see what happens. I like that. And so what, if you ask me, okay, what would be the purpose of them giving Theo Bennett left tackle reps? Swing tackle is important on every football team. You need somebody to swing, because guess what? If Aji Trapil ends up being your number one guy on the left side, if he comes out of this whole competition as the starter on the left side, you got to think about this way. We don't have another tackle that really has right tackle reps on the team other than Darnell Wright. So Kieran Amagaji, left tackle. Aji Trapil, he's going to be if he's a starter, so you can't consider him. That's not a guy you want to swing if he's going to be a starter. You got Kieran Amagaji, and you got Braxton Jones, and you got Theo Bennett. That's what you have. And so all of those guys are left tackle guys, except for possibly now Theo Bennett, who could be getting some of those left tackle reps. He might be the second swing tackle on the team. We don't know if Braxton Jones can play on the right side. We don't know if Kieran Amagaji can. They haven't taken right tackle reps to my knowledge. And so somebody has to. And right now, it sounds like emerging is Theo Bennett to try, be considered for that job. So stay tuned for that. We'll see how that goes and plays out. Shout out to the King who just busted up in here. What's up, King? All right, let's get to some more notes we got here. Oh, again, it was an intense practice. Very intense practice. I do have a little note about polls. I'm gonna try to save to the end because he's being interviewed. He's already been interviewed. It won't be released on Waddle and Sylvie. They won't release it till like 3:00. I almost pushed this podcast back to then so we can talk about it. But they did leak out a good little nugget on social media, and I picked it up. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show. We'll see what happens. Hello, Erica. How are you? First, I don't know. Is this the first time I think I've seen you here before, Erica, but thank you for coming to the show. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, my dear. Shout out to Frank. All right. Get to some other nuggets. It was clearly a very, very physical practice. One thing I'm going to take my victory lap on, and it's not over, but it's in a good place right now, I would say. But if you guys remember me several months ago, probably about 4 months ago, during the free agent period when we was doing the coaching changeover and all this stuff, and we got Dennis Allen. And as soon as I got through looking at the Dennis Allen All 22, I came and we did a podcast, and I told everybody that was listening. Let me see, Erica, what'd you say? Yes, I heard it was a really good practice, physical, and yes, it sounded like the offensive, how they were operating was a whole lot more clean than some of the stuff you've been hearing, previously, like during Family Fest. So yeah, I heard that too. I'm gonna talk about that at the end, towards the end too. But thank you for that, Erica. All right, so I'm gonna beat my chest because I said this in the offseason when we got Dennis Allen. I looked at the All 22, watched his coaching style, what is just what his system was, what is the framework of what he does, what does he do with his linebackers, how do they function? And I said this many, many times. Anybody that remembers hearing me say this, because I said it a lot, Noah Sewell is going to be a guy that's going to really, really benefit from Dennis Allen. He was going to be a guy that was going to benefit from Dennis Allen. I also said Tremaine too. His skill set fits what Dennis Allen does. Why? It's because the defense is so aggressive, it's so physical, and as of right now, Noah Sewell is the front runner to take that Sam linebacker job, and he is balling in camp. And I'm talking about there's people when I hear actually the first podcaster that I heard that really kind of highlighted, as opposed to myself, was Adam Hogue. Adam Hogue and Adam Johns on their show stopped for a second to make sure that they highlighted how good Noah Sewell's looked. They're saying he's looked the best since he's been here, came into the camp in the best shape they've ever seen him in, saying, this he's on another level as far as his physical conditioning goes. He looks different out there. So that stood out right away. But now as camp is going on, he's one of the through lines throughout camp of somebody that's sticking out to these guys. And today was no different. He was out there popping. And I mean pads popping. He's out there being physical as shit. That was clear. I heard at least 3 reporters say the exact same thing. And so when I said that, I knew that Noah Sewell, given his Oregon tape and the way they played with him in Oregon, I was just like, man, he's going to be perfectly suited for at least the Sam linebacker role. At least the Sam linebacker role. I'm sure they're going to give him other roles to play. He's going to play some Mike. He's going to play some Will at times, depending on how things go. But I knew that he would be a good fit in this defense. And he's running away. Sounds like he's running away with the Sam linebacker job as of now. That's why I said earlier, maybe we don't want to read too much into this new depth chart that's going to get released, but we'll find out. We will find out. But he is definitely a standout in camp so far. Eric, I see you. Let me see. Yeah, man. The King says, damn, amazing what happens with good coaching. You know what? All the time, King, you heard me say this a million times. I feel like, especially as a linebacker, a cover 2 based scheme or zone based scheme, period. Depending on the linebacker, that linebacker may suffer or may look worse, than what you saw on film, depending on what school he went to. Because if they don't get adjusted to reading keys and at the last second, you might, whatever space that they have to cover for each play, just know they're not covering the man, it's covering the space. And people run into each other and you get tripped up, and all it takes is one loose link in the chain and everything comes loose. And so I just don't think what Flus did was the most advantageous thing for Noah Sewell's skill set. I think, and I'm finding out that that's true, that Dennis Allen and the way he plays defense, much more aggressive, much more of a downhill kind of scheme for linebackers, that's going to fit perfectly with Noah Sewell. And I believe Dennis Allen saw the same thing I saw on film and just like, you know what, let's rep the shit out of him at Sam linebacker. Let's see how quick he gets this scheme, how quick he remembers his checks, all the stuff that you have to learn as a linebacker. Let's see if he can take to this, because I think we may have something. And I think I think Noah Sewell's proven it out there. He's been a dog. We just couldn't use him as much in that defense with Eberflus because maybe he just didn't play as well in zone coverage. Maybe that's all it was to it. I don't know. But I'm just glad that Dennis Allen is here and we're getting some usage out of this player who I thought was a stud coming out of college. Most people thought was a stud. So just had to say that. Shout out to Cornelius Squalls. Shout out to you. King Booker says Flus regime couldn't develop players. One guy improved, Dexter. I would say I gotta argue with you. I hate to have to argue with you, King, but what about Jack Sanborn? Jack Sanborn became a guy under Matt Eberflus. He really did. So we got to give him a little bit of credit. I mean, when I say Jack Sanborn became a guy, I thought he was a guy when we got him, but he really, really became a guy on this level once Flus and them got their hands on him. So they did a job with him now. Let me see. I'm looking at the chat. What's up, Dr. Earl? What's going on, Doc? All right, let me get to some more notes right quick. What else we have here? Oh, yeah, it was also obvious I don't know why people keep asking about Tyreek Stevenson. I think since Dennis Allen made the statement that the cornerback 2 role was going to be up for grabs, a lot of people, naturally going to ask, how's Tyreek Stevenson doing? I think people are still hung on to that one bad play, and I think it's a lot of people with some bad energy towards Tyreek Stevenson because of that play. Some people haven't let it go, haven't flushed it, but he was asked and he gave him a lot of praise today. And he let people know that Tyreek's taking this thing in stride. He's out there. And I think, and I'll say this again, I believe that they're trying to figure out ways to trigger their best players. How do you trigger a player like that who's going to give you everything that he has? And like like Ben Johnson said, one of the things he said about him was, he said a few things, but he mentioned that this is the kind of guy you want on your side because he's a dog. Those are the kind of guys you want on your side. You don't want to have to play against that. And so basically he said he's taking it in stride, but I think the intent was to push him and see how far you can push him. How fast can he hit his seam? I think Tyreek Stevenson, I'm going to say this again. I said it before on one of the shows. I think Tyreek Stevenson is poised to have a Pro Bowl year. Why would I say that much? Nomad, you going too far now. No, I ain't. This is why I say that. Jalen Johnson is your cornerback one. Widely regarded as a lockdown cover one corner. Team's going to naturally try to avoid throwing the ball at him. Again, he's going to get some targets, plenty of targets, but nowhere near as many as Tyreek Stevenson. If he ends up being the cornerback too, nowhere near as many as Tyreek Stevenson. So Tyreek Stevenson is going to have more opportunities to make plays. That's why I pushed the needle that far, because I think he's going to get tried until he proves to the rest of the NFL that you better not try me. I'm that guy. And they're going to keep pushing the needle towards it. And I think he can make plays. I know he can. I think he's going to have a Pro Bowl year. I'll say that as many times as y'all want me to say it. Tyreek Stevenson will have a Pro Bowl season this year if given a job of cornerback 2. Book that. I think he's going to be good. But let me get to a couple of comments. Let me see. Yeah, man. King Booker said one bad play turned into his whole year was terrible. That's because we have a bunch of lemmings as fans. It's awful, man. We're going to talk about some other stuff with this fan base here in a minute, but man, I can't stand that part of our fan base. I just don't like it. All right. Richard Long says flexible, smart coaching makes all parts of the defense mesh if players are competent. I'm finding, you know what, Richard, I can do a whole 2-hour show by myself just talking about defense. And this defense in particular, I feel so confident in what they are going to be able to do against teams with that roster. And it's not like I'm looking at the roster and they look like paper tigers. Nah, they were paper tigers in my mind until they put it on the field out here in training camp. And throughout training camp, they've been proving me right with what I thought about what I saw on paper, what I saw on film with this team's scheme, this coach, the players that we have. This personnel that Dennis Allen has right now is twice as good as what he had in an NFL team called the New Orleans Saints. Twice as good talent-wise. And so Dennis Allen is poised to, I think, be a top 10 defense. If the offense can keep them off the field at times, sustain some drives, and not wear them down, anytime you're sitting in a situation where you have Andrew Billings potentially being a backup in your front, you're sitting pretty. You're sitting pretty good. Anytime you have a situation where you have a stud cornerback like Tyreek Stevenson possibly being pushed and challenged for his job, you're in a good situation, a really good situation. So there's so many things I can point out to why I think this defense is going to be good on every level. I'm telling you, I can spend 2 to 3 hours by myself without a co-host talking defense and just making point after point after point to you guys on why I think this team is going to be really, really good. They're the reason why I think this team can give themselves a shot towards the end if they can, even if it starts off slow. It's about how you finish, baby. It's all about how you finish. If they could get hot at the end and the offense can, get somewhere to the level where we need to be, where they ain't got to be world beaters, where they can function and move the ball, move the chains, put up a couple of touchdowns in a game, that defense can take you the rest of the way. And so I'm over the moon about this. I'm totally over the moon about this defense. Let me see a couple of comments in here. Yep, Tyreek's only problem was maturity. Ain't that the truth for every young NFL player? Most of them anyway. Ain't that the truth? Dr. Earl wants to know how much of a difference will Brisker make being healthy. He's gonna put himself in a position to have a Pro Bowl season if he can stay healthy. I gotta give that guy, if he can get through 15 games, he might miss a game or two here and there. If he can get 15, give me 15 games. And I feel like with the way this defense is going to play and the improved situational football that Dennis Allen is going to have them play, they're going to be way more aggressive, man. You're going to see that guy flying as one of those bullets, flying in there, making sacks. I think this too. This might be a hot take, Dr. Earl. And I will say this. I think, let's just say level 2 and 3 of the defense is going to lead the team, especially early in the season, in sacks. I'm going to say that again, and I'm going to explain myself. Level 2 and 3 of the defense is going to lead the team in sacks early in the season. And so they're going to outdo the edge rushers. They will have, Kyler Gordon will have, and Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard, some of these other guys out there, maybe even Noah Sewell, some of the blitzes they're going to send Tremaine and TJ on. Those dudes are going to, the simulated pressures are going to outdo the performance of the edge rushers. So we might have 7 to 10 sacks the first few games. And I think over half of them will be by a cornerback, a safety, or a linebacker, if that makes any sense to you all. I think the simulated pressure is going to get more of, that sack production early. And I'm not saying that the edge rushers ain't going to get it. They're going to get theirs too. But I think those other guys on the second and third level of the defense are going to have more based on how Dennis Allen plays defense. He constantly has his foot on the gas, sending extra guys. They're going to get sacks, man. And I'm telling you, they're going to lead the team in sacks. In either the linebackers are going to lead or the DBs or the corners and safeties. I'm telling you right now. Man, shut up, Don. Nobody trying to hear that noise, punk. All right, let me see. I'm reading some chat. Yes, Brisker is the engine of the defense and will set the tone, man. He is a spiritual leader, this motherfucker. Yeah, we do need some takeaways. Richard Long. And I think some of those simulated pressures will produce those. I know. It's going to speed the quarterback up. It's going to be a lot of strip sacks, fumbles, and all kinds of stuff going on. It definitely will. Breaking news. Oh, Lord. I hope. Are you sure, Cornell Bryant? Are you sure, 100% sure? And tell me if you are, what exactly it is. Yeah, you will be elated, Doc. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a good year for this defense. Let me see. Shout out to Kenny Adams. Let me see. Hey, Cornell, let me know. Let me just look. Hold on, you guys. I'm going to get quiet for 1 second while I look on social media and see what Cornell's talking about here. Take a look, because I hope. Oh, Lord. Let me see. Got me nervous already. Let me see. Anybody here? Anybody else hear what Cornell said? Because I'm looking at social media right now. I ain't seeing it. Not seeing it yet. Let me refresh my screen. Let's see. Oh, yeah, hell yeah, King. He says Grady, Shady Grady. I'm telling you, man, everybody thought his tires was bald. King. I've been trying to tell people that dude's made different. He's made different. Grady gonna be a dog like he's always been. Always. All right, let me see. Looking at it a little bit more. It was another scuffle per Zach Pearson. Austin Booker and Braxton Jones got into one. And Javon Dexter came over and threw Braxton on the ground. That's something from Zach Pearson. Shout out to Zach Pearson. Yeah, I ain't seeing it, man. Oh, he left practice. Komet left practice. All right, good. I ain't got to use the breaking news video or nothing like that. It's just, hopefully it ain't that bad. Yeah, I'm trying to get out of here before, I'm trying to get out of this podcast before Poles goes and speaks. And we'll be, whatever he says, we'll be talking about that on tomorrow night's show for sure. He said, he's already talking, Erica? Oh, okay. You said at 3. Okay, my bad. Shout out to AC Adam, just busted up in this piece. All right, but I'm not seeing nothing alarming on social media about Cole Kmet, which is good news. Good news. Hopefully he just left practice with something tweaked a little bit. Hey, Don, I told you, and I say it again openly. Y'all stole a dog in Tyreek Williams, but talking about he better than Dexter already. You trip, you wow. I'll stand on the table anytime, any day about Tyreek Williams. I believe that much in that dude's talent, man. He's off the charts. But all right, let's get to some more information I have. Praise for Tyreek. Let me see, Theo Benedict. All right, let me see. Again, I think today they were focused on running the ball and not too much passing. Per reports, it sounded like the play action game was very, very effective today, and it kind of opened up some stuff in there, and especially in the goal line area, in the red zone area. Play action was specifically effective today, and a lot more clean, a lot more sharp, which is what I was waiting to hear. That's whenever a quarterback and an offense goes out there and sputters like they did during Family Fest, and you start having miscues that the world gets to see because everybody on social media is reposting stuff, you want to see that they go back to the drawing board and come out there and be a little bit more clean. But I believe the emphasis today was just be physical. We're gonna simulate some goal line situations. We're gonna simulate some red zone situations, and we're gonna focus on pounding the shit out of this defense, punch them in the mouth. Give them what they've been giving us for a while. We're going to hit them right back. And so could it be a friendly competition between, Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Those two can be competing. And, if it's a good team and a good environment, they should be competing. Because pride does kick in at some point. You ain't going to keep kicking me around like a little boy. We're going to just beat your ass. And they lined up and sound like they put it on the defense a little bit today. And it got a little physical. Sounded like. Cornelius says, save the fight for the Dolphins, man. We need a little bit of that. Just a little bit, man. Just a little bit. I just saw that Andre Brian Caleb hit Rome for a 48-yard bomb over Nashawn Wright. I just saw that. Thank you for that. Yep. Just saw it, y'all. Juju says, we'll rush for over 150 on y'all both games, talking about Detroit. All right. Let me get to some more stuff. Let me see. We talked about the depth chart. That's coming out soon. Don't look too much into it. It's just an early depth chart in camp. I mentioned play action look particularly sounded like it functioned a whole lot better than it's been functioned. They had a couple of, this is per Adam Johns, I think. Adam Johns said they're still having false starts, man. And, they're not where they need to be on the offensive line. And depending on if you're out there or not, and you know what you're looking at, it's vague as to who is the reason why we're still struggling with the procedural stuff. And I'm just being honest, 9 times out of 10, it's not the offensive line, it's the quarterback and his cadence. 9 times out of 10. I'm not saying that's the case right now, but from my experience, you either are inconsistent in your voice, the way you sound, the way you deliver in the play. I don't know what it is, but that seems to be a through line. We cannot take that into the regular season. Ben Johnson has spoken about that today. We got to get that cleaned up. We got to get that cleaned up. And that's largely, a responsibility of the quarterback. But is there guys that could be just jumping off sides because they're not disciplined? Of course. So it could be a little bit of both, So I'm just saying, usually that's how it goes. I haven't seen. I'll look again before we close the show, Cornell. I'll look one more time before we close out. I haven't seen an update on Cole Kmet. All right, now let's talk about, before we get out of here, let's talk about this whole thing with Caleb Williams and Tyson Bagent. So if you just got off from under a rock today, fell off a turnip truck or whatever the hell, then you found out that Ben Johnson made a hell of gave Tyson Bagent a hell of a praise today. He told him he praised him for how well prepared he is, how serious he is about the job, how well he's throwing the ball, how well he's going through his progressions. He thanked him. I mean, it was. I would just say, a lot of people might say it's a little bit over the top, But I don't think so. I think it's quite frankly what you expect out of Tyson Bagent. Now let's get this part right here over, man, and try not to fight each other about it, because I think one thing that I think we become known for over here on this channel is telling you how it is and just taking the bullshit out of it. And I think that's the best way to be. I'm not here to layer it on for you all to make nobody feel good about shit. I'm just gonna tell you the truth as I know it. And the truth is, it's a lot of people with ass sweat right now about Caleb Williams that are nervous. Now let's start there. They are nervous about Caleb Williams because he hasn't sounded so good in camp all the time. He did, quite frankly, stack like at least 4 practices together prior to the damn Family Fest. But for whatever reason, he went out there doing that live practice in front of a crowd, and he just didn't perform as well as he could. That's just the bottom line. He just didn't perform as well as he could. And that shocked the coach, and it shocked a whole lot of other people who expected Caleb Williams to be a little bit further along in this offense. That was 10 days into practice by the time that Family Fest happened. I'm talking about 10 days into, maybe about 3 or 4 padded practice into a live scrimmage. And he just wasn't where you want him to be, right? And so this is, again, that's post, stacking 3 to 4 practices together, which is what you're supposed to be doing at that point in camp anyway. You're supposed to be putting together some practices, some good ones. But he went out there and he underperformed a little bit, and the world got to see it. It's all over social media. The whole thing about him throwing the ball in the net, everybody's seen that video by now. He's missing the target, and he's, having a pity party with himself and getting mad at himself, having a tantrum. Everybody got to see all that. But let me be really, really clear with you all. And this is something I also have said within the last week or two. The truth and the facts of the matter is we got 2 quarterbacks in that building. There are 4 in that building. 2 of them have a little bit, one of them has a huge leg up on Caleb Williams because he's structurally and fundamentally ready to play a pro-style offense, and he's been doing it for 10 plus years. That quarterback, the veteran we have in there. And then you have Tyson Bagent. Who is and should be more advanced than Caleb Williams at this point. Why? It's because he has another year on Caleb Williams. That's not for nothing. He has 1 more year in advance of Caleb Williams of learning NFL pro style offense. That's why he's more prepared for it than Caleb Williams. And now everybody, because he praised him, everybody's just, the whole Bagent crowd out there, they take it too far. You get on social media, they just go crazy with any little thing, just stretch what was being said. And that's not what we're here to do. But the fact of the matter is Tyson Bagent should be more prepared to play than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is going to take a little bit more time because this is just a little bit new to him, man. You know what I mean? Tyson Bagent and what's his name? I can't think of the other quarterback's name. They should be a little bit more prepared. And so all I'm saying to you all is don't take that as a slight. Accept that for what it is, and which is the truth. It may take him a little bit longer than those other guys in that room. That's natural. But, it's just a lot of information to deal with. And he's dealing with it. And how good he looks versus the next quarterback and the next one, it wouldn't surprise me if I went out there to that camp and they put those other quarterbacks in there to run the same stuff as Caleb Williams, and they look a little bit better. I just got to explain to you why that is. That's all. And lose the ass sweat about it, man. Nothing to get nervous about, nothing to get in your feelings about. It's just the fundamental fact of the matter. I ain't going to get in here and bullshit you all. Now, at some point, Caleb will take a big leap. I don't know what point that's going to be. Early, late? My guess is probably going to be a little bit later. But, he's going to have some hiccups. He's going to have some of that. Don't worry about it, though. None of what I just got through saying means Caleb ain't going to be the quarterback we thought he was going to be. That didn't mean that at all. That means it's going to take him a little bit longer to get to the point where we need him to be, period. Again, lose the ass sweat about it. Don't get nervous. And I hate when I go and see people get so fucking defensive about anybody saying anything that ain't praise for Caleb Williams. That shit irritates me to no end. I'm like, why do we feel the need to have to argue with people about this shit? Why? Don't get it. Let criticism be criticisms. So fucking what? Is this somebody else's point of view? But man, he's gonna be fine. But don't get so defensive about it. Lord, let me see. Illy Jones says, Nomad, don't forget what happened to Trey Lance and Brock Purdy over in San Fran. Two completely different scenarios. Similar. I get you, Illy. I get you. I get what you're saying. Shit like that happens. Shit like that does happen. I don't, I hate to even go there, man, but I just try not to let my mind go there for the most part. I don't want to think that's like DEFCON 1 disaster, man. It's like DEFCON 4, DEFCON 1, whichever one it is, that's disastrous. Let me see. Richard Long says Tyson Bagent has to rely heavily on fundamentals because superb talent and ability will not bail him out. Caleb has to learn to allow for and respect the surpassing abilities of defensive players. I think with Caleb Williams, so the difference right now, I think between the two of those, I think it's Caleb Williams' learning curve and Tyson Bagent's learning curve. I can't speak to how much time they put into learning that playbook between them. And, per reports, both of them are hitting it pretty hard. But, who knows if Tyson Bagent is putting a little extra work, maybe he's making it he's on a mission. I don't know. I just don't know. But it's obvious that they both received the same information at the same time. And one seems to be a little bit more advanced than the other. My take on my reasoning for that being is Tyson Bagent has a year on Caleb Williams in the NFL offense. And he probably is going to be some things that he understands and that he's done that's going to look a whole lot cleaner than Caleb Williams, like the play action stuff. Tyson's just a little bit more used to doing it than him. And so, naturally, to me, they probably do look like better quarterbacks in camp. But, Caleb Williams will get to where he needs to be. And hopefully that's going to be the end of that story. I don't want to even talk about the otherwise. Let me see. King says, people ain't got to 100% praise Caleb, but overwhelmingly of shit on this man for smallest infraction is crazy. You're right, man. You are absolutely right about that, King. I see this shit every day, man. I get on Twitter, and that's the worst space in the world. That's where a lot of it happens at, man. It's just Caleb's who he is as a person, right? And how he came across, while he was in college. Some of that hate started then. I didn't particularly. I'm not gonna sit here and try to front with you all and say I was overwhelmingly in love with that cat. I wasn't. I was pissed off that Justin Fields, or Surgeon Justin Fields, wasn't still the quarterback of this team. I was pissed off. But once it came to the conclusion that Justin was no longer the quarterback, I went back to the tape and back to the tape again on Caleb Williams, saw some things about him that I didn't like, knew that he was going to be a work in progress as far as NFL quarterback, pro-style offense NFL quarterback goes. And I knew that, and I said that. But more and more, I was like, okay, talent-wise, he's got everything you need. All the other shit that people threw into it about all the shit about fingernails and about, I didn't like the fact that he went to his mother and leaned on his mother after a game and let the world see that. Like, fundamentally, me as a football player, if I'm a captain on the team, I'm gonna have something to say to him when he gets into the locker room. We don't show the world our feelings. We deal with that shit in the locker room. So I spoke to that. But overall, Caleb, you'd have to be blind to not see what this kid is capable of doing. Once you get over the fact that we change quarterbacks and this is the guy we're going to ride with, it's easy to accept that and go along with it because he's good. And it could be a whole lot better with the good functionality of a good coach. Damn, I don't know what the fuck is going on out here. Crazy shit going on outside my house. But anyway, yeah, it wasn't hard to see exactly what people got all excited about. You get up, you got to flush being upset about another player that ain't here no more. You get over that and you support the guy that's on your team. That's just the world I had to come to live with. And I still support this guy. I'm going to support him. But if it ever gets to a point where he's just not functioning right and it's taking a little bit too long, it won't have anything to do with me. It won't have anything to do with you or anybody else. People in House Hall will have to make the decision. Do we let him keep going out there and falling on his face, or do we put one of these other quarterbacks in until he's ready? Underline that last part, until he's ready. Even if they have to take him out at some point, take him out, let him watch for a little while until he's ready. Give him some more practice. Give him some more experience under his belt. Then you put him back in. But there's a universe where that could happen. It would devastate a lot of psyche in the fan base, 110%. But is it something that could happen? Hell yeah. It's going to take Caleb quite a while to get mastery of this offense. Just being able to function, getting in and out of the huddle, getting to the line of scrimmage, having time left on the clock to diagnose a defense like we've been talking about over here. That's just procedural stuff. High-level functionality in the offense is mastery of it. When you can look over to the sideline, before the call even comes in, you know exactly what he's about to call. Symmetry between you, the quarterback, and your coach. And knowing, when they turn the headset off in practice and he's trying to figure out what to do next, the ones with mastery of the offense will take that in stride. They'll get to the line of scrimmage and they'll function. We're cleaning up procedural stuff right now with Caleb Williams. Functionality is kind of secondary to it. So you see what I'm saying? The other quarterbacks are more advanced than Caleb Williams right now as far as that goes. Did that sound like a strike or a stab at Caleb? I hope I didn't. But let me know in the chat. Let me know. Because that's where we are right now. Let me look at a couple of comments. Yes, it's common for young players to take time to. You got to be patient with them. You got to be patient with him. If you believed in his talent, then you have to be patient with that football player. You have to be. Let me see. Let me see. Scroll says, nah, you give Caleb all the reps possible. Bajan is not the answer. It don't even have to be Bajan. It could be the other guy. I'm not trying to make no case for Tyson Bajan. It could be the other one, the 11-year veteran. But if Caleb, what would you rather do? I don't want to go through a season while I'm sitting here talking about, we're not winning games, and Caleb Williams is not functioning right. I want to win, man. And if another quarterback helps us get there while Caleb is still developing, I'm all right with that. I'm all right with it. He'll get back in that motherfucker, but he still needs time. Mike, my guy Mike, busted up in the chat. He says people forget what he stepped into, a teardown with poor coaching choices, poor O-line. He will be fine. Agreed to that. Agreed. Let me see. Omar 86, he says, I'm not trying to hear no excuses week one. I'm with you now, man. I mean, I just want to win, Omar. I don't give a shit how we get it done. Cut, scratch, steal, kick somebody, mom. I don't give a fuck how we win. I want to win. And it's not about no one fucking player. If he can function and do it at a decent enough level to where we can be productive, keep his ass in the game. But if he's hurting us, I don't know what good fan is going to say, I'd rather watch him struggle than win games. I don't know what good, that don't make good sense to me. As football-wise, it doesn't make any sense to me. But that's where I'm at with it. Let me see. Illinois Jones says, I don't get why Bajan wasn't moved at the draft. Probably the highest value he has held. I'm glad he's in the building. I think you need depth, and because you just, I don't know what we can get out of Tyson Bajan. I don't know who's going to give us what. I don't know that Tyson Bajan warrants anything. If you get a 6 for Tyson Bajan, you just got lucky, in my opinion. But his value can go up. I see you, Dr. Earl. I see you, man. Don talking shit again. No man, go back and ACO. AC what? My message is on Don Burr. Go blue logo. It's my fake me account. All right. Let me see. Cornelius Squall says they're already writing off Trevor Lawrence. I don't know why, man. He's got big time flashes, but You know, some of his lowlights are lowlights. I don't know. I think he's gonna be all right. The scroll says, I'd rather Caleb grow in this offense than win games right now. Man, dude, you know what? That's your preference, Scrolls, man. You know I love you, bro. But I don't think all that losing and getting his ass kicked, there's a price to be paid for that. Let's just say that. Let's just start right there. The price to pay for just being stubborn and leaving Caleb Williams in the game to struggle is not only going to cost you in the wins and loss columns, it's going to cost him. He's already trying to, wear these scars off of him now that he received last year. Man got sacked 68 times. No matter how he got sacked, who was the reason why he got sacked, don't matter. Them 68 sacks matter. And he's trying to get rid of them ghosts and them demons. Those are scars, bro. All you're going to do is add to the scar damage. You leave him out there when he's not ready, you're just going to add, and he might never recover from that. That's why I wouldn't want to see him just out there just to say Caleb Williams is still out there. You might permanently damage that kid. Some people don't recover from that, bro. Some people do not recover from that. All right, let me see. That's mostly what I got today. Let me make sure I got any other notes in here. Again, Roshan was sounded like Roshan was a guy that stood out today in practice overall, offensively for sure. Making sure we ain't got no more notes to get to. Because we did about an hour here, man, which is good time, man. Pretty good time. So I'm getting ready to get out of here, man, because today is my birthday. And I just came here because I love you all. And I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my day, man. I did my job as a Bears content creator, gave you some good content. And so now I'm gonna get on up out of here, probably get me some cold to drink, figure out something to eat, something good to eat, order me some shit from whatever app I got on my damn phone, order some food and just chill out for the rest of the night. I ain't trying to do too much. Thank you, Scrolls. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you, Scrolls. Thank you, Dr. Earl. Yeah, man. Thank you, King. Thank you. Yeah, it's my birthday, but I had to come in here and do my thing with y'all, man. I love being with y'all, man. I really do. I love doing stuff for you all. I love doing this content for you all. And so this is like one of my birthday gifts. I get to come live and have a whole community to talk to, man. I consider all y'all my people, every last one of y'all. Love you guys, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to you, Don Burr. Thank you, Smitty. Let me see. Illy, thank you. I know, man. Andre said, man, you should have took the damn day off. We would have understood. Man, I love doing it, man. This is a treat for me every time I get to do it. It's a treat. So this is like a birthday present, man. It's fun. You guys get to have fun with me, man. So you can feel it through my passion, man. I'm sure you can. So somebody like podcasters are podcasters. They dime a dozen. But how many of you guys can go to a show and every single time you engage with this certain person, he's got passion for this shit? This is my passion, man. I love talking football. Love it. I can do it all day, all night, man. So this is a birthday present to me, man. This is a birthday present. I got you. I love you guys too, man. Thank you, Cornelius. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dante. Scroll said, no way I can't take a day off without our permission. You seem like it, man. I'm cool with that, man. I'm a servant to y'all, man. That's what I am. That's what we do, man. Respect to you too, Don, man. I respect, I got tall respect for you, bro. You know that. We talk a lot of shit, but I got nothing but love and respect for you, man. Because I know you know that game. I know you know. But that's all, man. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy my birthday, man. You all have a good rest of your day. Be blessed. Be safe out there and be nice to people. But I'm going to leave you guys with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not, and I repeat, do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, I am